Don't wait till the night before Christmas to be good.
And in 3, 2, 1, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 9 of the 8th annual 12 Podcasts at Christmas. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Francois the Nation.
I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
I'm Patrick Swayze.
You've been Patrick Swayze before,
I have not. I have them all cataloged.
Okay.
I have them all cataloged. What do we got in front of us here, Fran?
Okay, so yesterday when we were doing, or like whatever day you watch this, we were doing our food from around the world thing. So we forgot to eat one. We got a can of mac and cheese from the UK store that we went to, Churchill's, whatever the fuck.
No artificial colors or flavors.
That's nice to know. So anyways, we didn't do it last time, so I quickly went and threw it in a pan and heated it up, and we're gonna try some of this canned mac and cheese.
I'm gonna try and be.
Do you smell it or not before you eat it?
No, it smells not bad.
It's very watery.
Is it quite hot, Fran?
I mean, it's good to eat, like good temperature.
I definitely don't care for that. It definitely doesn't taste like Blue Box Craft Dinner.
Nope. Not a fan. Tastes like blue cheese.
I don't know if I got much blue cheese. Fran's really giving it a go.
It's got like almost a blue cheese flavor to it.
I'm just gonna eat the whole fucking thing. Obviously, you're quite enjoying it.
We're not making him do this. This is there's no like hands up, Brad. Like we're not holding a gun to him.
not.
We're not.
Certainly not.
No threats have been made. This is just what Fran wants to do.
I think this is a statement about how good it is from the good people at Kraft.
Heinz.
Well, this isn't Kraft. Oh, it's Heinz. May I see the container, Andrew?
Certainly.
Well, it's got Durham wheat in it. That's good.
Let's pour some drinks to wash that down.
Minute and a half's easy to, and they call it hobbing to heat in a pan.
Oh,
That I don't jive.
oh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Good pasta, good times. The secret of this creamy pasta, as you might have guessed, at cheese. We had a touch of mild buttery cheddar, and oops, it's not a secret anymore. 171 calories per half can. It's one of the Heinz 57 products. It is manufactured right in London.
So, Fran, you obviously are a fan.
Yeah, I'd eat that.
Empty, unused
I'd eat
contents.
that, no problem.
Keep refrigerated for 2 days. Well, it's definitely interesting.
Give me yours.
I had one bite.
I don't care.
I'm just saying.
I'm surprised that the noodles retained
The texture.
the texture that they did. Being submerged in liquid like that. I guess it's probably fairly solid when it's in a... Oh, I don't know. Obviously, it's not that hot. Wouldn't add that much liquidity to it. Yeah, I think this is more similar to what we would have as like a white cheddar, I think. I think this is more like white cheddar.
Very mild.
Very mild, like white box crafted or white cheddar.
I was expecting, because like if you get like prepackaged mac and cheese shit here, it's always like it always has like a very processed
You want mine as
taste
well?
usually. This doesn't really have that. It's sharp still. It's very mild though. There's not really much of a flavor.
No. quite bland. Can I have some ice, Andrew? You want to pass me the bin? So today, for a little bit more of a Christmassy touch,
Pass me your Mac.
we got 3 hot Macs for the friend man.
He didn't eat really before, so.
I'll just sit here with my thumb up my ass, Andrew.
No,
That's
here,
fine.
give me your glass.
Nope. Thank you. And the eggnog's fucking nice and cold, so that's nice. Give me a little splash of that. So we're gonna mix.
Fuck! Before we continue, because we were doing something that we were doing last time, I was racking my brain about the sequel thing. I thought of another movie that I wanted to have a sequel really bad that I can't believe I didn't think of it.
Oh, good.
The other day, Van Helsing, 2004's Van Helsing, starring Hugh Jackman. I think it's a really cool movie, and I think it obviously, like, if you watch that movie, it feels like it's setting up for a franchise, and it just never got a.
Okay, here's a question.
How fucking
And
stupid
I'm also
am I?
interested to
10 out of
see
10.
what Fran
That's
thinks
why.
of this. Oat milk. Oat nog.
Jimmy.
So this is an oat-based eggnog.
Your rum already in there?
Yep. I did a shot, 3/4 of a shot of rum and a shot of rum chata.
Go down
I generally don't. Oh, this is light. Good. I was gonna say I generally don't drink.
Nope, I got
Full
only got the light stuff.
So for a little bit more of a traditional Christmas beverage, we're gonna do rum and eggnog. It's quite nice. Quite nice.
Tastes like Christmas. That is Christmas.
Yeah, me too. So Fran,
Yeah.
to your knowledge, has Van Helsing ever appeared in his own film? Or is he always a side character to Dracula?
There's a Van Helsing TV series that I never watched.
In the movie, is he hunting Dracula? I've never seen Van Helsing.
That's the primary antagonist. At the beginning, he hunts Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and then the Wolfman's involved. Frankenstein. It's kind of like this is something that pisses me off, and I got a bone to pick with the Cinemassacre guys. So the Cinemassacre guys, it's like another internet content creation thing.
Not nearly as good as us, but
Not they don't quite have the audience that we do. But they do their most popular series is called Angry Video Game Nerd, and it's been going on for a fucking long time, like early 2000s, long time. They've been
early
doing-
internet.
They've been doing that
I'll
show.
take the rest
He
of
used
it.
to used to cut it on VHS tapes. And one thing he does this thing every Halloween called Monster Madness that I really enjoy, where I think it's like 30 every day he reviews a different movie, and it's quite good. And I like it a lot.
I love Cinemassacre's Monster Madness.
But one thing that he said multiple times, and it drives me up the fucking wall every time he says it. This is James Rolfe. He always talks. He really likes the old Universal monster movies, and I do too. I really enjoy them. Love
And the Hammer
movies
films he
and
also really likes.
love them. But he always says, like, man, why don't they make a team up movie like you have the same movie with Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman in it? Like, why don't you make that movie? They made that movie. It's in 2004. They made it. It's called Van Helsing, and he's mentioned it before. And I fucking hate it. Like, he'll be like, why don't they make that movie? And then somebody will be like, what? Van Helsing? He's like, oh yeah, they made Van Helsing, and they'll just move on. And it's like, if you hate it, then say you hate it at least. But it's like you don't. It's like the movie exists.
So he clearly doesn't like Van Helsing.
He must not, because or it's just like he's got a fucking weird mental block.
Does the
I don't
Van
know.
Helsing? This might sound completely wrong, but does the Van Helsing movie homage the windmill
Frankenstein.
from the Universal Frankenstein film?
Yes, heck yeah. The whole beginning of the movie is a windmill scene.
Okay, I couldn't remember. So I have seen at least part of Van Helsing then, because I remember that scene.
Yeah, I've watched. I love that movie. I think it's great. It's like a good. It's very like Pirates of the Caribbean-esque. Like, doesn't take itself too seriously. Fantastical, big action, really well done set design. Like, I think the world building's good.
What did you think? Sorry, what did you think of the Brothers Grimm?
Oh.
That's tough to watch. That's tough to watch.
From what I can remember, because that's the one with Heath Ledger and Matt Damon in it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I got the movie on DVD in whenever it came out, and I remember thinking it was pretty good. I don't remember not liking it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I remember it being one of those like kind of like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, like really liking it as like a
Younger person.
Fran, do you want some ice for your jungle yum?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I gotta drink this fucking rum anyways.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just remember really liking it as a kid. I haven't revisited it though, so I don't know if it holds up at all. But I remember that kind of being, because Van Helsing came out around the same time,
Yeah.
within a year
Before
or two.
2010, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I remember those movies kind of being put together in my mind.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Brothers Grimm?
And Van
Could you
Helsing,
describe me the plot of Brothers Grimm?
similar. They're about, it's like these monster hunters, played by Matt Damon and Heath Ledger. At the beginning of the film, they're bilking people out of money by pretending to
Hunt monsters
like
for them?
get rid of these monsters, and then they don't exist, and then they actually end up there is one that does exist, and they have to this whole thing, and they have to help to save the town.
Okay.
I think this is like vague recollection. I'm probably missing some things, but
And then from the Van Helsing film with Hugh Jackman, Van Helsing hunts all the monsters.
No. So the
Who owns the properties?
Universal, wouldn't it be?
No. Like they own, I know Universal owns the copyright to the specific title The Wolfman. Like nobody else can make a The Wolfman movie, but they don't like anybody
Like the
can
original
make,
books and stuff are all public
no,
domain
it's
now.
all public domain. So it's like I don't think anybody
Plus,
owns
a lot of them are based off of like folk legends.
Like, can we make a Dracula movie?
I don't know what the legality is there. I don't know if it's like Lord of the Rings where it's like you have to ask there's like a estate holder, and then you have to ask the estate holder if you can use whatever property in whatever way. I don't know if there's legality that way. As far as I know,
Like, do I go to Bram Stoker and I say help?
I think anybody can make a Dracula movie. I'm fairly certain.
I think Dracula must be public domain at this point.
Because that's an old property. Like, when was Bram Stoker's Dracula written?
Early 20th century,
Yeah. So it's over 100
maybe
years
late
old.
19th century even.
Yeah, like Dracula to me is almost.
What's the
is to
oldest?
point-
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or Bram
I think
Stoker's?
Frankenstein's older.
Frankenstein is considered one of the first or the first of its kind.
And then, is the Wolfman based off a book?
No,
That's a separate
I
entity.
think that's just like general folklore type deal that they.
Yeah.
It's like the creature from Black Lagoon. It's like they just wanted to have monsters. So
Right, okay.
No, Universal largely pioneered that whole character and what like our modern.
Well, if anything, it's like a.
conception of it.
If anything, you could argue it's a spin off of Jekyll and Hyde.
Right.
It's a combination of that.
So
plus
Jekyll and Hyde was also a
folklore.
Universal thing?
I'm sure
Or they just included it in him and Van Helsing?
I'm sure Universal probably made a Jekyll and Hyde movie at some point. But Jekyll and Hyde is also like a literary character.
Yeah.
But he wasn't part of like that Universal.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
No,
Not
he
as
wasn't.
famous.
So
like,
he's included in this Van Helsing though?
technically the Hunchback of Notre Dame is a Universal monster, but he doesn't have any. Didn't get famous like the other ones did. So nobody like puts him in. Or,
So
like,
who does he
the
all
Phantom
fight
of the Opera is also
He fights
Universal.
Frankenstein's monster.
No. So at the beginning of the film, they introduce a character because he's hunting Mr. Hyde in Paris. And then after he finishes that, he goes to Rome because he works for the Vatican. And then the Vatican are like, hey, there's this vampire in Transylvania. He's killing this family. You need to go get him. And then he goes to Transylvania. And then Dracula, in essence, is like enslaved the Wolfman. And that's why he fights the Wolfman. And then Frankenstein is just like sort of a like caught in the crossfire. Like he's just there. Like Dracula enlisted the help of Dr. Frankenstein because Dracula has an army of babies that he needs to bring to life, but obviously vampire babies are born dead, so there needs to be some thing that he discovers some way to bring. So that's why they get Frankenstein, because he can bring dead things to life. So that's the idea there. And then he creates Frankenstein to prove the thesis that he can bring dead things to life. And then that's how Frankenstein is in the plot. And then Van Helsing feels sorry for the Frankenstein's monster and wants to help him and whatever. So it's just like he doesn't fight Frankenstein's monster. He does literally fight him in the movie, but it's not like he's an antagonist or anything.
No, it's
Okay.
more like a mindless.
And you would like to see a sequel to that?
It's a movie. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like
You could go
if there
anywhere
had
with it, yeah.
only been Curse of the Black Pearl, fine. But it's like, man, it's like you could see the potential of you could have seen. It's like, man, it would have been cool if there were more Pirates of the Caribbean movies. It's like, to me, Van Helsing could have had the same franchise staying power. Like I thought they did it
To start a franchise.
correctly,
Yeah.
and I thought they did it correctly. It wasn't like a flop like John Carter or like bloody Lone Ranger, or like it's not like with those movies where they did it kind of badly. I thought they did it well. Like it was well constructed, well put together. Like the action scenes are good, the acting is good, the actors are good. Like I don't know, it's like, and there's so many. It would have been a cool way. Like first movie is like with Dracula and Frankenstein, Wolfman, all these monsters that people know, and then you could have continued the franchise with maybe some more obscure folklore and just done cool stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
true.
It would have just been a cool.
It's weird to me to think of what I know of Van Helsing and then him hunting Hyde, and it's like he's not hunting a monster; he's hunting like kind of a guy.
Well, in the movie, they definitely
make him a monster.
Yeah, like he's basically the
A
Hulk.
menace.
Right.
Yeah.
In essence, like an evil Hulk that. It's quite chilling, actually. Like the beginning of that movie is really good. The CGI sort of holds up. It's not. It's kind of like Pirates, Curse of the Black Pearl. It's like
You're willing to forgive it because you know what era it's from.
yeah, exactly.
But it definitely doesn't like. It's not like Jurassic Park.
Well,
Where-
today it would be like, like
Yeah.
you should maybe be doing better than that in 2021. But the character of Mr. Hyde, like, there's a really good chilling dialogue where Mr. Hyde talks about how many people he slaughtered and like murdered, and like also he's Jack the Ripper. That's the other thing. They tie like this Mr. Hyde character is the character that committed these murders and stuff. So it's like I liked how they
Tied it
were.
all
Yeah,
together,
it was like with Pirates of the Caribbean, using it as another example. They took a lot of mythology, like pirate mythology of that era, and they tied it all into these films that had nothing to do with any of that stuff. But it was like I liked that it was like this homage to all this pirate lore, and Van Helsing felt like it was this homage to all this Victorian era mythological shit. And like I don't know,
like gothic horror.
yeah, to me it was just like tons of
Yeah,
potential
like
there.
one thing that
Like,
I
it
just
could've-
loved about. Sorry, Andrew.
No, I didn't mean I cut you off.
I was just gonna say one thing I really loved about Pirates. I love fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. I fucking love Pirates of the Caribbean. I fucking love Pirates of the Caribbean. One thing that I really liked about the whole franchise is the whole like the English Crown and the Dusty East India Trading Company, and like there's a lot of like that era of politicking and like military regimenting and this is this ship and this fleet, and like because they grounded it really well,
Yeah.
even though all this crazy shit's going on.
And see, like, to me, Van Helsing did a similar thing because it's like in the film, he works for under the Vatican, and like it's really cool seeing like basically Inquisition era Vatican. Like, but this is like this is like a version of the Vatican that's like, but what if there were witches and the Inquisition was actually kind of necessary
Right.
to like
They
find these
need it,
monsters?
yeah.
Yeah, we need them, and it's like that's an interesting. Because like we don't live in an era where people are still precious about the Inquisition. Really, like the Inquisition is a terrible thing, but like there are no survivors of the Inquisition. It's not like we're not gonna offend anybody.
There's not a political correctness.
Yeah,
about it.
by talking about the Inquisition. So it's a cool what if scenario that it's like, what if the Vatican was actually doing this service back in the day or whatever? And it's like I think that's really cool. And then
It's a really cool premise for sure.
and then it's like with the
'Cause that's the thing. Like actual witches, like literal, like terrifying witches and creatures like
I was
that.
saying
It's
they
like,
never even got to witches in the Van Helsing movie, which sucks.
Which they could have.
They could have.
In the sequel.
well, they could have been like a whole gothic horror universe, and it could have been like, yeah, eventually.
So there will never be another Van Helsing.
Not of that franchise, no.
And
It's way too. That movie came in 2004. Like it's fucking. We're almost 20 years out now.
And there will not be another Pirates of the Caribbean.
I don't think with the Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow, but I think
Which is the
I've
last
said that
one?
the last two times. So
Salazar? Was that the last one?
Yeah, Salazar, Captain Salazar.
I only like the first two.
Oh, I like them all.
I like the first three, and then 4.
Okay, what do we got?
Yeah,
Curse
I
the
don't-
Black Pearl,
Dead Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest, on
World's End,
World's
Devil's
End,
End.
then Stranger's Tides.
Stranger Tides and Dead Men Tell No Tales, or as it's been retitled, Salazar's Revenge.
Is 4.
No,
That's 5.
it's 5.
So it's World's End, World's Edge. What's 4?
On Stranger Tides.
On Stranger Tides is 4. Okay, and then that's right. Four is the one I really hate with the weird upside down.
No, that's at World's End.
That's 3.
Yeah, I really don't like that one. I really don't like that
That's the
one.
one with the rock crabs.
Is Blackbeard in 3? No, Blackbeard's in 4.
4.
Who's the antagonist in 3?
That's still Davy Jones.
Still Davy Jones.
The East India Trading Company, because Davy Jones and the East India Trading Company are working together.
Oh, right.
They have his box with his heart in it, so they're able to
At
make
the
him,
end of the second one, they get his heart.
and so they're able to, so they make him go sink pirate ships, which is fucking sweet. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
You need to watch 3 again. It's fucking good.
And to go, it's long. It's a long movie.
Yeah, that's another reason why I usually like long movies, but
To go along with, because you were talking about the politics and stuff, it was like also Van Helsing highlighted specific European cities, whereas like at the beginning it's in Paris and then Transylvania, which is not a city but a region, but like still it's like highlighting these areas that maybe you don't have a lot, like you haven't seen in the Victorian era a lot. And it's like with the Paris thing, it's fucking cool because they have all these posters up that are like Van Helsing's like this wanted murderer, and it's like during the Jack the Ripper period, so it's like people are super on edge and paranoid about this. So he's like all these wanted posters up, and he's also considered this murderer and stuff. And like I don't know, that's a good one. Like Rain of Fire, obviously I think it needs a sequel, but that one when I think about Van Helsing, I'm like this was literally like it was meant to be a franchise. Like that's what they wanted it to be, and it just like
What was it not well received?
I don't think it was terribly well received. I don't think it made. I think I probably made money, but probably maybe just didn't make quite enough money. And then
I'm interested in the spiritual successor,
what about
the play, the fictionalized play from the fictional film Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is an obvious spiritual
what
successor.
does he call it again?
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But it's got Van Helsing.
I was gonna say I actually thought of another one that I think a sequel could have been awesome. Deep cut here, the Clive Owen King Arthur movie.
Yeah, that movie was cool.
Could
That
have
also felt like it was set up as a franchise.
like a franchise, yeah.
Yeah, I think that movie came out in 2005. I want to say
I remember loving it when I was.
it's a great action movie,
Yeah.
but it takes like a realistic spin on.
I was
like,
gonna
what
say,
if
it's
King
one of-
Arthur was a real person.
One of my favorite King Arthur interpretations. Honestly,
Yeah, I can't think of.
I can't think of a better one.
Yeah,
Sword and Stone, the
Uh,
Disney movie.
no.
I don't really count it.
How's your oat eggnog?
Good, fine. Yeah. Totally fine.
Nog-ish?
I'm like not the biggest
Nog
raw
fan.
eggnog, but it's like, but yeah, no, totally like it serves that purpose perfectly.
There is a Disney
Maybe just a
film.
little more cinnamon, but
There's a Disney film. And I can't remember which one it is. It might be Robin Hood.
Oodle lolly golly, what a day.
The one that's like
Yeah.
the really, really out of date either intro or outro where they're walking by the screen, all the characters. on
Yeah,
the bottom.
Little John and Robin Hood walking through the
And
forest.
it's like a big bear with like a
Oodle
hangman's.
lolly,
He's got like a hangman's hood on. He's like carrying a rope, and he's like gonna hang him and
Yep.
shit.
Oodle lolly golly, what a day.
well, there's a song that came out recently. I can't remember what it is, but I swear to Christ, it uses that theme from Robin Hood. But it's like a pop song that came out last, I don't know, 7 months. Or
I guess
something.
there is some
Can't
pretty
remember what it
touch and go Disney shit, isn't there?
Oh yeah. How far back we talking? Like
No, I'm not.
OG Disney, they were like animated characters that they animated with blackface. Like they were animating and they chose to animate blackface. Like that has to be one of the most racist things I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a blackface character in Dutch folklore,
Yep.
which is like it's like Santa's assistant or something.
Yeah, assistant.
What?
Yeah, I think the implication is that he's not a willing participant.
No, but I think he's quite friendly and like enjoys his job.
Is he the Belschnickel? Or which one's the... I'm trying to think of The Office. Which one's the...
It's
blackface?
based off that character. It's like Hop Peter or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, there is a character that continues to exist, and if it was a
It is very controversial in Holland.
TV show that was generated in North America, would not have this character anymore. But Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z is clearly that character. It is a guy in blackface. They have a name for it from like minstrel, like pop-up shows, like with the big red lips, like the super racist. But like they did it in North America. Then there's a name for that type of character.
I don't know. Jinx from Pokemon's another good example.
Yeah,
back
Jinx
in
from
the day.
Pokemon is like, but
you'd
there's
see, like in anime they just.
But because these are
Not really something
Japanese
they were thinking
properties, I don't think anybody tackles it.
Well, Jinx they changed to purple. I know that in the anime. So
Did
like
they?
now with the anime Jinx, she's purple. But I think they kind of just let Mr. Popo slide.
Again, like
Because Mr. Popo is still in the show.
he's very racist.
He's a great character. I don't know.
And it's weird because he's a character representing an era of racial insensitivity in North American culture, but he's also kind of like Pakistani or Indian.
Yeah, I'd say Indian.
Like-
Like, it seems like they steal a lot from Indian, just like with Kami and like it feels very. Of
Yeah, there's
that
like elements of
spiritual-
Hinduism and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know how Mr. Popo still exists. If it was a show generated in North America, he certainly would not exist anymore.
He might not even exist in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny because it's like, I think like, I've liked Dragon Ball for a long, long time, so it's not something I thought about. But a couple of years ago, whenever that sort of political mindedness became something that I thought about. I remember watching Dragon Ball and being like, man, people must have brought this up, like, because this is quite overt.
The thing is, like, it's so overt, but the problem is that issue of that caricature from history is like comes from Caucasian actors doing it in North America. So it's like I don't know if there's not much of a strong history of Japanese people doing blackface. Like,
No. But I mean, it is an issue that was brought up. Like I went online. It's like there are every year it seems like there's somebody that's like, hey, so
well,
what's
that's
up
the
with this
thing.
character
Like
that does
Japanese
blackface?
people don't even think about it.
No, that's like
Blackface is a part of their culture.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not part of
such
their culture.
such a cultural difference that it's like whatever. But it's like you can see like with Pokemon as an example. The thing is they do censor things for North America. Like any anime you watch, if you watch like the dub, it likely is censored in some way. Like they will cut out scenes like in 99% of anime.
It seems like more stuff
Pokemon-
flies in Japan.
Oh, way more. Yeah, way more.
Like, the
They
censorship
sell
is way
panties in vending machines. We've talked about this. It's an alien planet. It's completely different. But it's like I was even I'm a big Digimon fan too, so I was like looking at I saw some video, I think it was like
All these Digimon in
Watch Mojo
blackface.
or Watch Mojo or something, and it was like top 10 times Digimon was censored, and it's like there was like some pretty extreme violence in the show and like way more overtly sexual type stuff, and it's like that's all censored. And it's like Yu-Gi-Oh was censored. Like in the Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh, the Shadow Realm is death. Like they kill you. Like that's what it is. And like the Shadow Realm is like kind of this way that they were able to work in. It's like these people are gone, but they're not really gone. Like they're fine. So it's like
That makes
that's an
it way
interesting
more
one.
badass. Like
Oh.
it's like
adult.
Yu-Gi-Oh is like a way to cheat. Like you have a card battle to cheat death, essentially. Like
Because
that's
there's an
kinda cool.
episode where they have like it's funny how they got around it, but I think the main character and whatever other character are dueling, and then whoever loses, there's two saw blades next to them, and whoever loses gets cut in half by these saws. And it's like, so the North American people are like, how the fuck are we getting around these saws? So they just added a glow around the saws. They're like, if you get touched by the glowing discs, it sends you to the Shadow Realm.
Oh my god! And then they probably just had them like do that digital shatter effect,
Yeah.
which they loved to
Yeah.
do in that era.
So yeah.
I like I said many times before, Gundam Seed is a porno.
Have you ever
Well-
seen an episode of Gundam
Yes,
Seed?
and what we got in North America was a highly bastardized software version of what they get in. It's a show, for those who don't know, it's a show, anime show where they fight in robot suits. But in Gundam Seed, they're not in the suits very often. They're usually undressing. And not undressing out of the robot suits, out of formal attire.
Lots
after
of
a dinner
crying and
party.
undressing.
Yeah. Lots of undressing.
Lots of dying, crying, and undressing.
Japan is also the country that bought us the hit classic, I'm going to call it an RPG, rape play. So that's something for you. Check
Is
that
it?
out on your local
Do we know
internet.
that it was Japan for sure?
Oh, yeah.
I actually don't know.
After 6 hours of playing, I can tell you it was definitely a Japanese game.
If you want to see something horrifically offensive, Google that and go on Wikipedia and have a read. That's
Terrifying
rough.
shit. Terrifying shit. I definitely don't mind the rum chata.
Prefer the rum.
It's a little sweet.
It
For
would be
one,
nice.
it's tasty. Like for one drink,
Yeah.
it's tasty. To continue to consume it at an alarming rate is...
It would be great if you were doing a double and you did a shot of rum. The first one was great. Shot of rum. I would do half a shot of rum chata.
Yeah, probably.
Like 1.5 rum to half shot of rum chata.
What is rum chata?
Well, Fran, let me tell you.
What?
It is a cream liqueur made with premium Caribbean rum. It is... Doesn't say much... Like it's horchata. I don't know. It's like a... It's made with Caribbean rum, but horchata is like a Hispanic food drink.
So it's rum mixed with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's like rum and like... I don't know.
Condensed milk or something. Maybe coconut milk. I don't know.
Yeah, like soy and rice flour and milk salts.
Milk
And
salts.
Hydroxynated palladium.
You know what I could go for?
Milk salt?
A good milk steak.
I could go for a milk steak.
A milk steak with some jelly beans on
Best
the side.
enjoyed with 6
Milk steak
best,
is a thing.
best enjoyed 6 months after opening.
What?
Little green ghouls, buddy.
No, sorry, best enjoyed within 6 months after opening.
I was gonna say that's the
Open
only
it.
You know,
time I've
vermouth-
ever heard that. I
Vermouth
think.
also goes bad like right away after you open it. If you look on it, it says
Really?
like, yeah, that's why most bars don't have vermouth. Because once you open the bottle, if you look at the bottle, you're supposed to, you can only keep it for like a week or something.
Oh fuck! I got a bottle of vermouth upstairs.
Well, we'll have to pound the whole thing next episode. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Oh, we got a Reddit round table, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, you try that shit again, motherfucker.
Okay. I'll give you a choice between 2 scenarios. You tell me which one sounds more intriguing. A mother controlling her 20-year, because mother's control over her 20-year-old daughter who lives under her roof,
Okay.
but she's 20. And then
From whose perspective?
from the mother's perspective,
Okay.
or the sale of a house and tension between, again, an adult woman and her parents from her perspective.
Tension of what?
So like there's a house that's been sold and there's financial stuff around this house, and it's caused tension between this woman and her parents.
Yeah, let's do that one. Fran, or unless you...
No, yeah, that one sounds good.
So for those of you who don't know, we've been indulging ourselves in what we like to call, around here anyway, the Reddit Roundtable. Andrew goes online on Reddit. Reddit is a website. Websites are on the internet. Internet is a communication between multiple platforms. Anyway, Andrew goes on there and picks a story on R Am I the Asshole, wherein people posture to the greater...
They seek validation for their terrible behavior most of the time, / just seek validation in general around some problem they're going
Yeah,
through.
either they're being ridiculous and they want people to tell them they're right, or it's a very vanilla thing, and it's like, am I good because I gave money to the homeless? It's like,
This one is actually a little bit. I'm curious to see your thoughts on this one. It's kind of cut and dry, but anyways,
well, the other
sort
one's
of not.
less cut and dry. Do we want to do that one?
no, they're both like,
Fairly comparable.
yeah. Am I the asshole for wanting a cut of the money from a house my parents are selling? My parents live 8 hours away from me, and in 2018, they decided they wanted to buy a house in my town. I had been living in a downtown apartment and wanted to stay there, especially because I had just gotten a new job nearby and was getting out of an abusive relationship. So I wasn't exactly stable. Because my dad is retired, he was not able to get a mortgage approved in his name. So they got the mortgage in my name. For a few months, I basically had to plan my schedule around buying the house. Being there for inspections, signing paperwork, meetings with lawyers, etc. I scrambled to find a roommate and we moved in, paying the mortgage as our rent. When my roommates moved out, my boyfriend, now fiance, moved in. We were there for just under 2 years and then bought a place of our own, just 5 minutes away. We faced a bunch of trouble buying our house because I already had a mortgage in my name. My parents rented out the house, and because I was close by, I essentially became the in-town landlord. I was the one having to contact tenants about stuff, utility issues, be there for any work and inspections, any issues with the mortgage company and insurance, meetings with rental company, and had to do any handiwork that my parents didn't want to pay for. We had a hurricane one summer, and my fiance's parents, my fiance and I, spent an entire day cutting up and moving huge dead and fallen trees and rebuilding the fence. It's been a frustrating process since I've had to spend so much time rearranging my schedule around handling the house and taking care of it. My parents are now selling the house because they are moving down here and building their own house on the coast. I'm heavily involved in the process because everything is in my name. Meeting with realtors, lawyers, walkthroughs, inspections, signing documents, and everything that comes with selling a house. Luckily, it sold fast and my parents are making about $100,000 of profit. My parents have made it clear that we aren't seeing a cent from the sale of the house, even though we feel like we've put a decent amount of time and work for them with the house. Then we were hoping they'd give us a couple grand from the sale, but they say my reward is how selling the house will help my credit score. It was 800 before they even bought that house, and I should be grateful. Am I the asshole?
You're not entitled to it. I mean, if you didn't want to do it, tell your parents you don't want to do it. You're an adult. And it would be nice if your parents would give you a cut, or if they offered to give you something as a thank you for helping out. But no, you're not entitled to any of that. And my parents help me out tremendously. And when I have to do work on the farm, I just do it because that's what I do. So she's an asshole, but I don't think she's in the right.
I think just because it's phrased of like, does she have any right to be upset about this? I think absolutely she does. Is she entitled to anything that wasn't agreed upon before? No, but to me, it seems like she put all this work in, and while she didn't, similar to when you help someone else out, you don't necessarily do it with the expectation that they're going to help you. But if you put a bunch of time and effort into helping someone, and they have the opportunity to do something even small to help you out, and they choose not to do that, it's disappointing and it sucks. And again, I don't think she didn't describe getting petty about this or like cutting off ties with her parents. She's just like, I'm pissed about this, and I'm wondering, am I within, is it reasonable for me to be upset about this? That's like the frame I'm kind of taking with it. And in that framework, I say, yeah, totally justified to be upset about it.
I just think that if you are agreeing to do it, and then you're upset at the end with no reward, you obviously had an expectation going in, which you should have expressed going into it. And if you didn't want to do this work, if you expected some sort of reward for the end, you should have made that clear to them.
It's true. I mean, again, as long as it's a thing of
and it's your parents. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. They probably helped her out with other things, I'm sure. And
that's true.
Don't discredit the credit score thing. Them purchasing a property and making payments in her name will help her credit score long term. So
well, here's a point someone brought up that might sway.
Okay.
You're not the asshole. Your parents are lying to you. They couldn't get a mortgage on their own because banks determined they were too big of a credit risk, not because retirement. They did not earn the $100,000 by themselves just because of the down payment. You carried a big portion of it by being willing to take a risk no other bank would take. You also spent 2 years paying the mortgage on your own house, and your parents are stealing your fridge from you. Do not allow them to take $100K home with them. It is your money too.
I disagree only because that person is completely wrong. The bank it's not a risk determination. That's because he doesn't have active income and doesn't have the ability to repay. And that's what everything comes down to, the mortgage. Mm-hmm. So no,
well, but you can there's other ways to qualify for a mortgage other than active income.
Pretty tough. You got to have money coming in to make the payments.
No, you can get a mortgage based on net worth.
No, you can't.
100% you can.
Well, unless they have a bunch of money. I'm assuming they don't have a bunch of assets.
Typically, for someone, but the point being that there are people who are retired who could qualify for a mortgage.
Yes, but obviously, like, if this guy was at end of life work and was still working for another 20 years, he would have got a mortgage, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they, I totally agree. If they're like bad creditors and they're abusing their daughter's earning potential or credit rating to get a mortgage because they're leveraging her for an investment that they're profiting off of, absolutely. Then that's ridiculous.
Again, like I don't think she should have. There's no expectations. Like no one owes anything in life. Especially not if it's not prearranged.
Yeah, like if you.
I'm just saying that if I were the parents in this situation, I would 100% give her.
Me
a cut
too.
of it.
Absolutely, I would have.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I think the parents are kind of the assholes.
Yeah, I agree.
She should just like again. I would say it's totally within her rights to be disappointed, but then shake it off and move on.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
As long as it's not a thing that's going to be like a grudge between her and her parents.
And it's a good learning lesson for her.
Yeah.
It's like if you it's good for her to value her time moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Lesson learned, and I mean, you're probably going to do well off of your parents' net worth growing, and then when they die, you'll hopefully inherit it. So you can be.
That's true. It's her. The other thing is like that's a good point. It is her parents at the end of the day. Like,
you know, and maybe she doesn't know. Maybe the parents are really awesome parents, and they're like, we're going to secretly reinvest this money, and then she'll have even more to it will yield even more for her in the coming years.
Yeah, I mean, like that's
a lot of assumption, but
yeah.
Fran, thoughts, comments, concerns?
I don't think she's an asshole. I also don't think the parents are assholes. I think about myself, and if I was involved in something like that, my parents would absolutely. I'm fairly certain they would. Because I remember when because my parents did recently were trying to sell their house not too long ago, and my dad said to me like, if you find somebody to buy this house, like I'll give you find the highest real estate what do they call it, commission that you can find, and like I'll pay you that same amount for how much we ever get. And I'm like, so she didn't do that, so she didn't help sell the house, but like. Obvious that I think that indicates my dad's willingness to like share in the wealth or whatever. But I don't. Had my dad not done that, and I found somebody to buy the house, I also wouldn't have expected any money either. It's just like something I would do to help my parents, so like I wouldn't be mad about it at all. And I've done tons of work on the farm, and I've done tons of work like fixing the farm up and stuff, and like I would never, if my parents sold it outright, I would never expect any of that money. So like. I don't think anybody. Though. I don't think anybody's an asshole in this situation. I think it would have been nice for the parents to do that. I don't think they're bad people for doing that.
I think there's a difference between asking or helping your parents with like chores and maintenance around a place that you grew up in, or even if it's not a place you grew up in, like with their property, and asking someone to do essentially a part-time job on the side in another city after they're an adult. I'm not saying it's not unreasonable, but it's like there's a difference in those two scenarios to me.
I mean, like
for me, it's like then she should have been getting paid for doing the little jobs, like hourly or whatever.
That's what she should have said. It's like
there should have been
not trying to post ad hoc rationalize a payout at the end because she did all this work. It's like if you wanted to get paid for doing the little jobs, then ask them to pay you for doing the little jobs. Don't expect some big payout at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't disagree. I think obviously
unspoken stuff. I don't.
Yeah, on unspoken stuff. At the end of the day, it's like, well, communicate.
And I also need to know more. Like, you know, it's like if her parents said
these Reddit things are very much. Like, use the information you've been given.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's. But I'm just trying to. If I was trying to elaborate on it, I would just say like, again, depends on your situation. If you were like a self-made. Had your parents didn't support you at all, and that you had more of like a
you paid for your own college, whatever, all that stuff, your own
thing, whatever. But like, it's like, well, what if these like we don't know? Maybe they paid for her college. I just like sometimes
that's true.
Sometimes
that's a good point.
This time, a lot of this time, these Reddit things kind of feel a bit of like entitlement. It's
well,
yeah, they paid for my fucking college, but I spent 4 hours a month at that house fucking around.
You're very clearly only getting one side of the story. Yeah. That's the thing. I think the whole point. The whole point is like you're just supposed to give what you've been given and then
and also try to infer stuff from what you can infer a lot about a person's personality when you see how they reference. Like there's this person I would say is a little bit more self-aware, and there are other people who are just obviously totally entirely self-centered and oblivious, and there's not even a remote concession that maybe I'm doing something wrong. It's like they're just looking for validation.
Yeah, some of the ones were more like questioning themselves.
Like this one was in that vein to me a little bit. Like she's genuinely wondering, like, how upset should I be about this kind of thing?
Take it to small claims court.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because
you fucking take your dad out, you break his fucking knees, you put a collar on his, strip him naked,
It'll give you
put a
50
collar on him,
grand
and
real
drag
quick.
his fucking balls over broken glass. And I bet you get a check. You write Dale Doback a check for
Dale Brennan
$100,000.
a check for $10,000.
Oh, 100,000 this time. All the profits.
money, yeah.
You're getting your money back, bitch. You're lucky you're getting your money back, bitch. Whoops, wrong camera. You're getting your money back, bitch.
Yeah. I think my parents are nicer than that chick's parents because I think
I think most
they
people,
would've, but
I think most people in that scenario would probably kick back something to that kid.
yeah. But I
I'm
definitely
not even talking like a proper percentage. I'm saying like just anything.
But I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't even think twice about it if I didn't get anything. Wouldn't even
No.
cross my mind.
No.
If I was in that scenario, it would depend a lot on how much work she also ended up having. Like again, she described some of it, but like if that was a thing.
Also, why isn't your retired ass dad taking care of some of this? That's
they
the other
lived,
thing, like-
they lived in a different city, so like
Well, she's like talking about taking meetings. So I was like, do that shit over the phone, motherfucker. I guess it's in her name, but
Oh yeah. If
she
I
has to because it's
if
in her name.
my parents asked
Some
me
of
to do
it.
something like that, and then I had one day where I'm like, oh, this is like a day job type thing. Like this isn't mowing the lawn. I would call immediately, be like, you're paying me next time. I'm billing you, or I'm not doing it again because this is ridiculous. Like this
Yeah.
is way too much work
to
do
me,
for
to
free.
me, what it sounds like is essentially she entered into a business arrangement with her parents without having any discussion about what that arrangement was going to be.
Yeah.
Because essentially what her parents did was made an investment in a rental property in her city, and then expected her to just
drop everything.
drop everything and run it, as well as have her name on it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like it's her fault for not having a discussion with her parents at the beginning of this relationship and saying, hey, I'm essentially going to be your property manager. I need,
What does that look
what
like?
does
wait,
that look
so-
like?
I'm so confused. So this property is under her name?
Yeah.
Well, they're not entitled to shit then. It's her property.
Well, they've been making the payments is the whole idea. Like, they couldn't get the mortgage.
Great. Show me that on paper, fucker. Who owns this property?
Yeah, I know.
No, fuck that. This changes everything. You should get all the money. It's your property. Fuck them. Fuck them. What? That's ridiculous. It's
They
your
put-
property.
they
It's
put-
your name.
they
on it.
put-
she put the down payment
They
down.
parents paid for the down payment.
I don't care about
100%.
that at all. Who owns the property? Who is the one selling the property? Who is the one who's got to put
Yeah,
the name?
she could absolutely take them to court and rinse them.
No, fuck that. It's your property. You get all the money if you want. It's your thing. What? It's ridiculous.
But she couldn't have gotten the property is the idea.
Like
I don't
neither
care.
of them could have individually got the property.
Whatever they paid for. They wanted to pay for it. Fucking pay for it. It's mine now, fucker. Fuck you.
You wouldn't do that to your parents.
But I'm just saying, like, we were just talking totally from the point of view that it's like, yeah, they're entitled to all the profits. This really changes things for me now that she's the one who technically owns the property.
Yeah, it's all everything is in her name.
This changes big time. Man,
That's-
you have all the leverage here. Just say, like, yeah, I'm only, like, you sold it, but it's like, I own it. I'm not going to transfer the deed unless I get this much money. It's my fucking property. Fuck you. Well, this is ridiculous to me. What are you the biggest pushover ever? You have all the leverage here.
This is why I thought it was a little bit more controversial and why her expecting a kickback is a little bit more called for or justified because it's in her name.
I don't disagree. She deserves a kickback, but you need to express
I don't
that
give
shit
a fuck
before-
about deserve. It's legally your money.
Yes, I understand. You could jeopardize your relationship with your parents and take all the money.
Great. Fuck it. If they fucking want to not talk to me anymore because I'm taking my money, fuck them.
You're gonna forego buying a house for you and your loved one to pay for a random person's
I don't. It's like.
But now you're telling your parents to fuck off.
No, I'm saying she could do that legally. Absolutely, she could fucking do that.
No.
But it's like,
Whether or not she could, should she?
but what we should be talking about is should she be giving them a kickback, not fucking them giving her a kickback. It's your fucking money. It's your house. Ridiculous. How is this woman so bad at negotiating and bad at like understanding what her leverage is? You own the property. You can take as much money as you want. Take the amount of money you think you're entitled to, and then give them the rest. What? Come on. Use your brain. Use your fucking brain. They can't do anything. They can't take control of any of this fucking money unless you sign the fucking papers. What?
Yes, we understand the difference between like the social and legal ramifications.
I didn't say you didn't know. I'm talking like
This is
third
an
person
example.
to this woman.
This is an example of super nerd here with D&D. This is an example of chaotic good.
Right.
No, I'm not claiming any of these things are the right thing to do. I'm saying she has all the leverage. If she feels entitled to this money, say, I will not sign this signature if you sign this house.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
But she's just posturing and she's an asshole for wanting to do that.
No, fuck no. Fuck no. Take the money that you feel you're entitled to and then fucking give them the rest. This isn't even a question. This is stupid. What is this? You have all the leverage here.
You turned so sure.
Because it was a completely different scenario. In the one scenario, it was...
I know.
She had no anything. There was no say, no claim, no nothing. She has all the claim in this other scenario. She literally has everything.
No, but the question is not whether or not she can, it's should she.
Well, no, I thought it was, to me, it's like, I don't really should, like, it's like so up in the air, but it's like whatever at the end of the day.
This isn't like,
unless you're like killing
this isn't
babies,
our
like,
legal advice, like, can I take this money from them?
No, the point is to pose a morally ambiguous situation and decide if, like, her thoughts on it, such what are our moral thoughts on it, not like.
So to me, like, this
is she legally able to retain the money from the property that she has is in her name? Well, yeah, of course.
Well, to me, this isn't even a moral question. There's no morality here. Nobody's an asshole in any fucking version of whatever they do here. But the scenario itself is interesting. I'll say that. Like, I don't give the morality, like, none of this.
Well, I mean, morality might be the wrong term technically, but like.
But still, even like, I don't.
Business ethics, I guess, call it even.
Anybody getting fucking huffy and puffy in any type of scenario here is like, whatever, fuck it. But like.
I don't know.
Lady.
Money's a pretty.
Anyway,
use your fucking brain.
Fuck the parents. Thank you guys so much for joining us on episode 9.
Because what do parents do? They just don't understand.
Parents just don't understand.
They just don't understand.
Join us for episode
11,
10, 11, and 12, where we will be butt chugging hard cider on camera.
By we, Brad means he will.
And
goodbye.
And it is opposite day, and Andrew's me. Bye.